Amy,
Yeah,
have you ever been to Iowa?
I have for like 15 minutes. That's about it, though.
What'd you do in Iowa for 15 minutes?
I went to a Casey's. I guess it's like a gas station,
You
and
got some pizza, right?
I got breakfast pizza, and then I left and went back to Omaha.
I've never had a Casey's pizza. Is it good? Alicia always raved about Casey's pizza. She was like, I'm going to get Casey's pizza today.
It
I'm like,
was.
what is Casey's pizza? Like, I thought it was a restaurant or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. I had never been to Nebraska before, and it was good. It was definitely good. I
That's
was
good.
like,
I guess it's
"Ooh,
like going to
yum."
Wawa and getting a hoagie, right?
Yeah, probably. Definitely. It's worth it though.
Well, I've never been to Iowa. I've never been to a Casey's, but I would like to go to Iowa because I would like to visit the Villisca Axe Murder House.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky season in full swing right now.
It's still us, Mo and Amy from the Flippin' Fantastic podcast. This is just our behind the scenes where we talk about everything and anything except reselling. Make sure you subscribe and take a listen. Bye.
The Villisca Axe Murder House is a very popular haunted attraction at this point, but it did start out. It's a very sad story, and it's an unsolved mystery as well. So, true crime, mystery, and haunting
Mm-hmm.
wrapped up into one small house in the small town of Villisca, Iowa.
Yeah, it was over 100 years ago too. 100 and I don't know, 120 maybe almost.
Yes, um, yeah, because yeah, when was it? Like the early, yeah, 1912, right?
Yeah.
I want to say yes, 1912. In 1912, the this is the Villisca Axe Murder House. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, they get a nice little placard in
Yeah,
their yard and everything.
yeah. So, the people call it. It kind of does look like a little farmhouse, but it is in town in the small city of Villisca.
Mhm.
Um, Villisca. It's not a farm per se, but the people that live there, the Moore family, did, they had like a lot of people had out in the country in the time.
Mhm.
You can see there's a little barn out back. They had farm animals and, probably farm chores. It's not a big lot. Houses are nearby. They walk to places in town, including church, which is where they went on the night of the murders.
Yeah.
So we've got Josiah Moore and his wife Sarah, and their four children,
Yep, 4.
and who lived in this little house. He was a John Deere salesman. He had a John Deere franchise.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So I believe that's what he was. So he was a pretty prominent businessman. The local Presbyterian church, which they walked to, of the murders, they went to a program at the church, the local Presbyterian church, which they walked to. They It was a children's program. When they came home with two friends of their children, the Stillinger,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. It's like Ina and
Yeah.
Lena. Ina and Lena,
Yes.
yeah.
And they spent the night with their friends. And in the morning, neighbor noticed that nobody came outside to do
Yeah.
whatever chores you did back in the day, you
The
know?
feeding of the animals, most likely,
Probably, yeah.
right? Mhm.
And you probably, since neighbors were close by, they probably saw each other in the morning and talked to each other. And she noticed that no one was stirring in that house. And, little kids, I mean, I personally did not have a little early riser. I don't know about you, but I mean, even when he wasn't sleeping till noon, he slept. I know people that had kids that were up at the crack of dawn, literal crack of
Yeah.
dawn. My kid would get up 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But if little kids, so if they were up, probably running around. I think it was the weekend, so you figure they would be outside, especially since they
Yeah.
had their friends over.
Or wonder if it was like a summer's like school, like if they were at a school or did they homeschool and stuff? Because it happened on a Sunday night.
Oh,
So
that's
the
right.
next
Yeah.
morning would have been a Monday.
Hmm.
So either getting
What
up to go
time
to
of the year it
school,
was? I
but
can't
probably
remember.
not, because 'cause you're not having sleepovers on a school night. Well, at least in this day and age. Maybe in 1912 you did, but definitely there was nothing going on at their house. It was
Oh,
quiet.
it was noticed. It was
Yeah.
noticed. Um, it was June. It was June, so it was summer.
Mhm.
I couldn't remember what time of year it was. June 9th into the early morning of June 10th in 1912.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, so they were noticed that nobody was stirring at this house.
Yeah. And then the neighbor lady called the
Mhm.
brother of the man of the house, I guess,
Yeah,
John.
Josiah's
Yeah, or
brother.
oh, yeah. She called him and basically was like, "Hey, come check on your family because nothing's going on." And I guess he came over. Did he have a spare key? Was that how that went down?
I'm assuming probably.
Yeah.
It's a small town, it's probably one of those things where do they even lock their doors?
Right.
You know? Everybody knows everybody. Do they even lock their doors? I mean, there's places that people don't lock their doors now, you know?
Mhm. True.
I mean, when I first started dating my husband, he's from a small town in Pennsylvania. I'd be like, I mean, even when we moved in this house, he had lived here for a very
Uh-huh.
long time in apartments and then here. Sometimes he wouldn't lock the door because they
Oh,
never locked the door at their house. Now,
wow.
granted, somebody was usually home because parents were like retired by then, but that was something that kind of carried over from when they were little. They just didn't
Yeah.
lock the door.
That's insane.
Not anymore in there, but that's
Yeah.
how it was when he was growing up, and
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
crazy to me. We always locked the door.
Mhm. But these doors were definitely locked, at least after the crime. If
Yes.
not, if it was unlocked before, we don't know, but after,
Right.
all the doors were locked to this
Yes.
place.
Hmm.
So, whoever did it took the keys, took some keys with them to lock the door,
Hmm.
you know?
Yep.
So, wow. And they s and the you said it's, still unsolved.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
that
there are
was
theories about who it
Mhm.
was. There was somebody that was tried for this murder a couple times. Um,
Yeah. And he
but
recanted, remember? Like,
yeah.
it's like,
Hmm.
What?
And then
What do you mean? Why you recant?" You know?
yeah, exactly. So somebody did say they did it, but then they said no, they didn't do it, and they may have had they definitely had some mental problems,
Right.
some mental health problems.
Mhm. For sure.
So it was their next door Mary, who's was the sun was rising, and it was odd to her that nobody was out and about.
Mhm.
She called his brother, and she asked about them. So he came. Um, he let himself in. He didn't see anything wrong at first, and then he went into the first floor bedroom. This was Josiah's brother, and he saw the two. Let me put up the other picture. He saw the two neighbor girls. They were in that room. They had put a bed in there for them to spend the night. And by the way, they lived out. They lived out on an actual farm, like far from town. So they stayed. It was a children's program, so they stayed with their friends.
Yeah.
I want to say that these pictures, I believe, are probably the only pictures they had.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. 'Cause they were
but they're
older.
much younger. The girls were, yeah, they were all older at the time
Yeah.
of this. I believe the girls were like preteens.
Mhm.
And I think they were friends with Mary.
Yeah.
Mhm. So Ina and Lena,
Ina.
Ina and Lena would be.
Ina and Lena. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's how they
It
said
might
them.
be, but I want to
Uh-huh.
say Ina. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so these are much younger photos of them, but these are the people that passed away, the Moore family and the two girls.
Mhm.
So he saw them first, and I guess then they called authorities.
Yeah.
And they found everyone else. They had all been murdered. They had significant wounds to the head, all of them, axe
Mhm.
wounds.
Yeah.
So you can
From the blunt
imagine,
end of
right,
the axe too,
right,
except
hmm,
for Josiah. His was from the other side, like the actual
yeah,
axe part.
hmm,
And
Yeah.
a lot too, like 30, like over 30, like, strikes with the axe, which is that sounds like a personal attack when it's, like, that many, you know?
Right.
And
Mhm.
he was the only one that got 30 or over
Yeah.
30, you know?
Right.
And so much so with such force and violence that there was, markings on the ceiling from, like, the
Mhm.
swinging of the axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
And
you
but
can
they were
imagine,
upstairs. Yeah.
oops, I didn't mean to do that. You can imagine, because there's the upstairs. This
Mhm.
part, you'll see a picture later, that's the attic. Um, and then the bedrooms are up here. So it is they do have like a steep slant in the ceilings. And when you
Mhm.
look at pictures of the inside, you see that. So if the bed was tucked up against the wall, he definitely hit the ceiling. So it's not like,
Vast.
he
Yeah.
necessarily didn't need to be a giant,
Yeah.
to hit like a 7-foot ceiling. It was a very slanted ceiling.
Mhm.
But yes, he did. I believe I have seen people who have visited this house, to investigate and everything, and they've used what's the stuff that they spray to see if
Oh,
there's
like
blood?
luminescence or whatever that's called?
Yeah, I forget. I was wondering if you would know. You were a hospital person
Oh,
taking X-rays. I don't know, but there is a name for it. You spray it on, and then you use the black light, and you can see. It'll help show
okay.
you know, blood, if there was blood that had been possibly, like, cleaned up or painted over it, it will
Yeah.
still show if something's there, and they have done that, and there is quite a bit of blood. However,
Really?
here's the thing. So, after they found them and authorities came and this and that, they had, there was telephones then, and there was some sort of all call that went out to, like, the telephones around and telling people about it, and I guess to be on the lookout, be as a warning.
Mhm.
Let me see where it says this. Um, Here it is. Sometime after 8:40 a.m., the town's central telephone center issued an all-call alert advising every household in town of the murders. Within minutes, the home became a full-blown spectacle. So what happened is
Oh.
people were tramping in and there was no closed crime scene.
Yeah.
People were in and out. People, the crime scene was completely contaminated after that. I just found it interesting, how long did it take for
Word to get
schools and
around.
universities and everything to have something like that where, they called parents something
Yeah.
happening or, just it's a snow day or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, it took a while for when I was working in school, it took a while for them to actually get that kind of thing going. W
True.
Before that, you had to look at the news
Yes. Oh
or
my
listen to the
gosh.
radio and hope they didn't go to commercial before your district came up, and they always went because mine began with an R, so we were at the end of the alphabet,
Oh my
and
gosh,
then,
yeah.
um, the teachers, we had a phone tree. We had a phone tree, so
Uh-huh.
we would just call each other,
Yeah.
but interesting that they called all everybody's phone, probably like a lot of party lines and stuff, but they spread
Yeah.
the word real quick, so, like, all of a sudden everybody knows and everybody's, like, tramping around the house. They said,
Yeah.
there could have been upwards of 100 people that went through that house.
Contaminating it and s messing it
Yep.
up for
They said that the
investigations.
town marshal let them because the axe was still there.
Mhm.
So, the axe was left in the kitchen next to beans, right? And a slab of bacon.
2 pounds. 2 pounds of bacon.
Yeah. Like,
So
the murderer was gonna help himself to make himself something to eat, but then he thought better of it and left.
or was gonna take it home and cook up some
Right.
food.
Take it
So
with him
yeah.
or 'cause I don't think that they would have left it out overnight
No.
to cook up
No,
in the
no.
morning, 'cause,
Definitely not.
you definitely had to store food back then, mice and
Mhm.
animals,
Yeah.
bugs.
And there was also like, a basin of water, right, that had,
Mhm.
uh, blood in it, like, as if
Yeah.
the killer had
They
washed his hands or
cleaned up. Mhm.
Mhm. So, it's almost as if there was no urgency, you know? Like, he was like, he did it and then lingered around. Because then not only did he wash his hands, he also covered up stuff, right? Didn't he cover up the windows
Oh,
and the
yes.
doors?
The
Um,
mirrors.
oh, yes, the mirrors.
So when you talk about, especially like around that time, like I want to say Victorian times and stuff, it was always the superstition to cover mirrors so that the spirits couldn't get trapped in the mirror. So
Oh,
they took the time to do that, which I know when we talked about this before, you said, it almost sounds like it's somebody who maybe even knew them. Who else would take care to do that? You
yeah.
know, it seems
Uh-huh.
weird if some random person came and did that. But then again, they could just be like, they don't want to be superstitious and think they're going to get haunted by them if they don't. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's true. Didn't they cover, all of their faces as well? Didn't they
Yeah, I think
cover
they
them up?
pulled the sheets up on them.
Oh,
Yeah, because
yeah.
when the brother went in to the first floor and went into the room where the Stillinger girls were, they were
Mhm.
covered up, and he said he was smelling the coppery blood smell, the irony
Oh,
blood smell, and,
yeah.
I think he touched like, one of their hands was hanging out, and he touched it, and it was, like, cold and lifeless, and
That's a That's such a shame. The fact that it
yeah.
was 8 people, like, everybody in that house, and
Mhm,
nobody heard like you said earlier, like, in that one picture, I'm not saying that's what it looked like in 1912, but there were neighbors. They did live in let's just say the downtown area because they were able to
mhm,
walk places. So
yeah,
the fact that nobody heard them, like, scream or
yeah,
anything because one of the girls, I think it was one of the neighbor girls, didn't she kinda have defensive wounds? So, as if
I think
maybe
so,
she
yeah,
was trying to, like, put up a fight. So, I would if you're putting up a fight, I would think you're, like, audibly putting up a fight too. So, I'm surprised that,
mhm,
the neighbors didn't hear any commotion or
yeah.
just anything.
No,
Yeah,
and
it's
I don't
just
know, like, this is their, like, barn back there, but I don't know if this house was there then. I don't know exactly how close they were, if they were that close. I mean, they're "Where'd you go?
that's what I was gonna ask you. Are you
You
I can see you
disappeared."
now. You
Oh,
disappeared.
oh,
It's back.
you did on my screen.
Same here.
That's so weird.
I know.
Okay,
We're being haunted, Mo.
I know, right?
We have to
I don't
stop
know.
talking about this.
I know.
Maybe we're on to something.
We're sorry.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think one of them had defensive wounds, like I said, I don't know how close. I mean, close enough to be not the middle of nowhere. Close enough
Yeah,
that a neighbor knows they weren't outside.
exactly.
I don't know
Eh,
how close to here, or was this guy just so good that he didn't wake anybody up? Like, who knows? You know?
yeah.
But they think it was so they said that the sheriff or whoever it was letting everybody touch the axe, and the axe they believe was from their woodshed.
Mhm. Yeah.
So there's theories about that maybe this person hid out in the woodshed until they went to sleep, but there was also cigarettes found in their attic, which,
I
um,
don't think really means too much. Because what
yeah,
if one was
especially
like a
without
closet
any kind.
smoker
Exactly. I
and they were
mean,
s
our pictures of the children are little, but they were older,
Mhm.
you know? It could have been them. You never know.
Yeah. Just
Um, so, one of those Herman could have been sneaking cigs upstairs, something,
I mean, it's possible. It's possible, you never know.
S right? So,
Mhm.
so this is 1912. There's no kind of forensic anything going on.
No.
They don't I mean, like I said, they didn't close the crime scene. They're letting everybody touch everything, so
Yeah.
they had no concept of any of that back then.
Mhm.
So the clues are suspect. You
Yeah.
have no idea. You have no idea what who touched what, anything like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. But they did have, like, several suspects over the years, and they even
Mhm.
had a trial. So, I know that one was that reverend, he was like a traveling preacher, and
Yes.
he was at that church service that night,
Mhm.
and he was a suspect because of, like, his obsessive behavior over the case,
Yes.
and, yeah, he was the one that, it confessed to the crime, but then later recanted, and this
Yes.
one actually went to trial, and his first trial was a hung jury, and then the
Mhm.
second trial, he was acquitted,
Mhm.
so that's like a hot mess of a case for him to, like,
Yeah.
confess
He
then
was
recant.
also, in and out, I think he had some it seemed that he had some mental issues. You know,
Mhm,
what he suffered from, I don't know, who knows? But
mhm,
I think he was diagnosed at the time with schizophrenia at one point,
mhm.
and he was a he was a peeping Tom.
Oh, yeah,
He
that's
set
right.
fires. He was a
Yeah.
firebug.
Mhm.
So he committed arson. He was in and out of some mental institutions at the time,
Yeah.
and I think that's where I think he died in a, mental institution in New York State.
Oh.
Um, so, you know, he confessed, recanted, but who knows if he was just obsessed with it because of his issues.
Mhm.
I mean, but it could be him. It could have been him.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's possible,
Right.
especially if we knew about it. Like, if it had happened today, I think we would know more. Well, obviously, there'd be better forensics of the crime scene, and we'd probably
Yeah.
know from DNA.
Mhm.
Because you know well, I'm just assuming that as many hits as many swings of the axe as he had to have been, cut himself.
Yes. Mhm.
So, there
Oh,
would have been some
absolutely.
kind of blood from him
Right, and
on
if we
the
if
ceiling, the
yeah.
floors, the bodies,
Mhm.
any kind of it. Yeah, there would have been DNA left, any kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was, another guy, like, a couple years later, I think that they investigated, was that he was like a was he a I don't even know if the term, like, serial killer or
Yeah.
axe
His
murderers?
name was ironically Henry Moore, but he was not related to them.
Oh, was he the
Mhm.
oh, okay. Oh. Oh. But
And
he was to be
he was
the guy.
like a troubled person.
Uh-huh. Hmm. And then
Yeah.
yeah, what about I thought there was somebody named, like, William Mansfield who was, who did, like, a ring of axe murders, and they thought maybe, he might have been
Oh,
involved with that one
maybe
too.
that's the other serial killer.
There's many, huh?
Um, Let me see.
Hmm.
Well,
Oh,
that's
the
the oh, so let's go to that. That brings us to the book, The Man from the Train. Um,
oh, yeah, you were
this
I
is on
remember
my
you
to be
saying
read
something about
list,
this.
but they have a theory because the train, this was a big time for trains for travel in the US, and there is a theory the murders could have been so here it is. In 2017 in the book The Man from the Train, journalist Bill James theorized the murders could have been the work of Paul Mueller, a German immigrant drifter and logger. James even tied
Oh.
Mueller to the infamous Hinterkaifeck axe murders in Germany, stating his belief Mueller returned to Germany after running into trouble with the law a few times in the US.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is so there are a bunch of murders that can be linked to the Villisca murders. There was
Mhm.
Colorado Springs axe murders in September, I think 1911, 1912, something around that. There was some in 1911 in Monmouth, where I don't know where that is. I guess is that in Iowa?
I don't know.
It doesn't say. It just says Monmouth axe murders. Um, Paola, Kansas axe murders in 1912.
Oh,
And the
okay.
Axeman of New Orleans was 1918 to 1919, where a series of brutal axe murders occurred in New Orleans, attributed
Wow.
to an unidentified assailant known as the Axeman.
Huh.
targeted people in their homes and attacking them with an axe or other blunt objects. So,
Hmm.
so the serial killer theory is out there. And so that was the drifter theory of like, because the
Yeah,
train ran through there, that somebody, they came through, they were just there for a short time or whatever. And
and it's back
this was
on.
the time of, you had your, which, your bums, your hobos, and your tramps.
Yeah.
And these are the tramps like Charlie Chaplin tramp with the stick
Stick
with
and the
your,
bandana.
yeah, with your stuff in it.
Huh.
Because okay, so there's a whole thing. Bums don't work, tramps work, and hobos. Uh, Tramps only work if they want to, and hobos work all the time, but they go around. I forget which one is which. But yeah, so there's a whole. That's a whole deep rabbit hole you can dive into of the whole when migratory people and the trains, and they would leave. There's a whole symbology they would leave, like next to places like, oh, this is a good place to stay. This is a good
Oh,
place to
yeah,
get
yeah,
a
yeah.
a meal. They'll give you a bed for the night. So they had symbols for that these guys would leave in places. And
Oh,
so I think this is a good theory. I mean, we're never going
yeah.
to know who did this, but I think the
Uh-huh.
train theory is as good as any of them. Um,
Yeah, especially since
mhm,
they lived in the town, and I'm sure the
mhm.
train was obviously in the town as well.
Yep. Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, and that makes you wonder, like, I wonder if this family, would, like, rent out their house, not their house, but rent out that downstairs guest room to
Oh,
people
well,
on
I think it
trains.
was a sewing room, and they put a bed there for the
Oh.
girls to sleep in. Because
Oh,
I
okay.
think from what I've read, it sounded like they put one of the girls' upstairs bed down there for them to stay,
Mm,
and then she bunked with somebody, one of her other
yeah.
siblings for that night.
Mm,
So I think, and it said it was a sewing room.
gotcha.
So I don't know that they were boarders. They were pretty well off because like I said, he sold John Deere. He was a franchise owner
I mean,
for
and the
John
kids
Deere.
and they have 4 kids, and they had to all share 1 bedroom? 'Cause that looked like a tiny house
Yeah, I don't know how many
upstairs.
bedrooms are upstairs. I'd have to look through the pictures.
It
I
just
mean,
looked
I've
tiny from
seen it, but I
outside.
don't have
Mhm.
mental
Yeah.
a
Ugh.
mental here's like so I didn't pull a picture of bedrooms, but like here's the downstairs like
Mhm.
kitchen area. I
Yeah.
know there's like a kitchen, there's like a parlor, I guess they would call it, downstairs.
Mhm.
And then here's a nice creepy picture of that attic. You see the little windows there,
Oh,
and they have
that's
a
a
nice
big attic too.
haunted doll. Yeah.
It looks like Annabelle
I think
up in
it's
that
very
corner.
hard to stand up in this attic, but
Mhm.
obviously, because
Oh,
you can
yeah, 'cause
see.
if those are
I don't
chairs, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
don't
very
even think that's 6 foot in the middle.
yeah, that's true. Mhm.
But, and I've seen, like, ghost shows, so, like, when people go paranormal hunting there, they get that people that say they're sensitive, you get that feeling, that sadness, and all that kinda stuff, and I know that they do. And the doll, I don't think it's a haunted doll, I think the doll's
Yeah.
there because there were children.
Oh,
So and you
yeah.
can see there's, like, some balls on the floor and things for
Mhm.
we call those trigger objects to see how much, you see if you could get activity going because if there were children there.
You might wanna play with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know
So
that I know the house was bought. I don't know if they were like investigators or whatever, but it was bought in '94 by Darwin and Martha Lynn, and they restored it back to the 1912 condition. And
mhm.
then they have, I think it's like a museum, and it operates as a paranormal attraction.
Yeah, you can come
So,
do tours, you can rent it
mhm.
out for the night. If you're in Iowa, you can rent it out for the night and stay overnight
Nope,
there.
nope.
Come on, Amy, it would be fun. Amy, we
What?
could go to Planes for Profit and then head up to the Axe Murder House, and you could investigate it with me.
Okay, you make that all those arrangements, and you let me know when that is. That'll be next week. You'll be like, "It's booked." We can buy one of those, Panasonic RXD
Oh
things or
my
whatever
the
they are.
DR60,
Yes,
DC, DR, yeah. Oh, man.
that's it.
Got
That's
2
it.
grand laying around for one of those pieces of junk. Not me. I wish I could find one. So,
No.
people get a lot of evidence from this place. It's when you watch shows and people are there, it is funny because it is in a town. So sometimes you'll hear stuff outside, you'll
Mm,
see car lights go by.
makes sense.
So there is that. You have to worry about the contamination. But if you're there overnight and it gets quiet, I'm sure. And I do have a piece of this is I want to say the Midwest Paranormal Files
Okay.
on YouTube, and this is a EVP. And you can see it's in the kitchen. So I showed that picture of the kitchen. The
Uh-huh.
camera's in the kitchen. You'll hear people. They're not in frame of the camera, but they are talking to something and they activate a toy. They do it, not paranormal. They
Uh-huh.
do it asking if anybody wants to play with them. I will point out that this is kind of old because you can see the format. It's not
Uh-huh.
full screen or anything. So the qualities of the picture or anything's not great, but it also there is a hum in the background, and I believe because this they boosted their audio up so you could hear it on here. Um,
Okay.
I brought an extra little toy for you. It's a little pink. Do you like the color pink? Down here, feel it. If you squeeze it, it makes a little funny noise. Do you like this?
Oh, he's got a stuffed animal in
Squeeze
there.
that for me. I'm in the dark here with you. I don't want to hurt you.
so
Creepy. I
So
got
I thought that
chills.
was I went through a bunch and I thought that was like the best one just because
Mhm.
of having a little kid say mommy, So they're there,
Yeah.
they're all adults. Nobody else is there's no little kids there. And when you listen to it, I suggest putting some headphones on. And like I said, it's not unfortunately not the greatest quality. I don't know exactly when they captured this, but it was a while ago. You can tell their equipment isn't the greatest from that
Uh-huh.
time, but you can definitely absolutely hear a little kid say mommy.
Oh, yeah.
And they were talking about you want to come play with me. We're sitting here in the dark. We've got some toy, they're saying some stuff. They're kind of fuzzy because they're off. They're not in front of the camera. So
Yeah.
you're just hearing them from wherever they're sitting downstairs near it. And but it definitely sounds like a little kid say mommy.
Oh, yeah,
And
100%.
knowing what happened there, you know, kind of gives you a little bit of chills
It
thinking
does. I
about
got
that. So
goosebumps.
thought that was an interesting end to our discussion about the Villisca axe murder house and the still. Well, I mean, just because of, you could say ongoing investigation, but nobody's ever going to know because it's not like
Yeah.
we have like old evidence that hasn't been contaminated somewhere that we can test DNA for anymore. We don't.
Right.
So
We'll never know.
unfortunately, it's gonna really yeah, it's gonna remain, a question mark into how this poor family, tragically died.
Yep, unfortunately. Well, let us know, guys. Did we skip anything? Did we miss any key evidence? Did
Yeah.
you guys
Have you
read that
been there?
book? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did anybody read that book? Has anybody
Yeah.
been there? Has anybody experienced anything there? I would love to know.
And we'll
It's on
keep you
my bucket
updated.
list to go.
We'll keep you updated when we go
Mhm.
next year. Mo's been planning it 2026. And with that, guys, stay sassy. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for watching and check out more of our videos right here. Stay sassy.